Hello and welcome, 27th of August, it's about 9:30 in the morning. It's a beautiful day, a perfect day some would say, for some chilli analysis. Let's get these chilli plants out of the greenhouse. So what chilies are we talking about? We've got hot lemon chilies, basket of fire chilies, standard jalapeno pepper type chilies. So I've got some that have been in the greenhouse since April, I think I moved them out here, and some that have stayed at home. I germinated all of these at home in a propagator, sowed the seeds in January along with the ones at home, so they were tracked no differently. February, March, April is when I split them up, brought some to the greenhouse and left some at home. By the time May comes, I think we're starting to see a difference in the size of the ones at home versus the ones at the allotment in the greenhouse. Let's have a look at the size difference now. We'll start with hot lemon. The ones at the allotment on average 67 centimetres high. The ones at home average 75 centimetres high. But the ones at home, very long branches, almost longer than they are tall. Let's move on to basket of fire chilies. Average at the allotment height is 32.5 centimetres. Average at home is 90 centimetres. They are huge plants, huge plants. Then we'll move on to the jalapeno peppers. So average size at the allotment is 56 centimetres tall. Average size at home 110 centimetres tall. So some massive size differences there between the ones that are kept at home and the ones that are moved out into the greenhouse. But does bigger necessarily mean better? We'll come on to that in a bit, but first of all, how have these plants been treated differently since they got split up? These ones in the greenhouse, I was watering them too much at first. I've only just built this greenhouse, finished it February, March time, so I was getting used to how hot it was. I was watering these too much. The roots were waterlogged, it stunted the growth at first. Drilled some extra drainage holes, all good. These ones also came outside for a week in the heat wave we had about a month ago. It would have been too hot for them in there, so they came outside for a week. The ones that I kept at home did have a holiday outside as well, because they managed to get green fly infestation, so I sprayed them with soapy water and put them outside to try and get rid of the green flies. So they've been outside for the same amount of time, I think, but for different reasons. On watering, these ones get watered 3 times a week, maybe 4 if it's really hot, but they do have a wet, dry periods, if you like. You know, maybe these went 4 days this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before I watered them. The ones at home, because they're handy, they probably get watered every day, but they both had the same amount of feed, just sort of a liquid feed every few weeks, nothing major there. Does size of the pot have something to do with it? So for example, the 2 smallest plants here of each variety are in smaller pots. Even the hot lemon, the one in the smaller pot, is the smallest plant. I mean, this one's in a teapot for some reason. Obviously there's maximum limits, but bigger the pot, more space for roots, I guess. So let's have a look at the differences in where they live. So they're both on south facing windows, if you like, with the sun coming across the sky, and they get full sun during the day. Do they get the same amount of full sun though? So let's have a look. Here's a photo at home in full sun, and a photo of the greenhouse in full sun. It's just that that photo at home was taken at midday. That photo at the greenhouse was taken at 8:30 in the morning. Let's have a look at the same picture at home at 8:30 in the morning. As you can see, they are not in full sun yet. There's south facing windows, a few trees and stuff, and the windows are a bit smaller. So that got me thinking, how much light do they get during the day? So I set up a time-lapse camera, one day in the greenhouse and one day at home, to see how much light they get during the day. Let's have a look at that. So the ones in the greenhouse are getting direct sun from 7:30 in the morning. The ones at home don't get direct sun till about noon. There are some trees to the right of where I'm sat at the allotment, so maybe these plants don't get full sun after about 4:30, whereas the ones at home get full sun till maybe about 6, obviously weather depending on a sunny day. But the ones in the greenhouse are getting 9 hours of sun versus the 6 hours of sun that the ones at home get. Plus these ones at the allotment are getting sun from early in the morning, 7:30. That'll warm up the greenhouse, even if they had 9 hours of sun each. These ones are getting the sun early in the morning, helps heat it up for the rest of the day. Now in April, when I brought these out, obviously the weather was much colder and the temperatures would have been fluctuating a lot more, getting to near 0. So that's maybe why these were slow starting. The ones at home, obviously, is a more constant temperature, but there's no way our house there gets to like 35, 40 degrees because you'd open a window, you'd do something. So the heat here in there at the minute is 35 degrees centigrade, so it's a lot hotter in there. It's a 2 by 2 meters by 2 meters structure. It's new to me. It's doing exactly what I hoped it would do in terms of a greenhouse. It's maybe more humid in there because I don't open the door. It's a contained atmosphere which helps keep the heat in. So windows all round versus one set of windows at home. So why the size difference then? It might have something to do with the watering. Maybe chilies like a bit more sporadic watering. I mean, I was watering them a bit too much at home. It's got a bit to do with the light. Is my assessment. These have got enough light. They don't need to stretch and try and find some light. These have got enough light starting in the morning through to late afternoon. The ones at home, I think, are growing long to try and access more light because they only get light for 6 hours a day. It's probably the same as I grew tomatoes in my shed/greenhouse last year, which has just got glass at the front and it's wooden sides and a metal roof. They were growing really long. I was really pleased. What I didn't realise is that, yeah, they're just trying to stretch and get the light, just gangly, long, thin, not necessarily the best. So bigger doesn't always mean better. These look perfectly healthy chili plants. In fact, they're probably more akin to the shape of a chili plant that you would expect. So bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. Now the crop isn't over. I've started cropping the ones at home. I'm going to start to crop these now. So we'll revisit in terms of how many chilies they produce. I mean, these ones, these hot lemon, they're still green. The ones at home have all turned yellow. So I think these are slightly behind. Why do my analysis now? Because I haven't cropped everything. Well, I'm starting to crop the chilies at home, and the chilies at home are starting to look, let's call it old. The leaves are starting to look more leathered. These beautiful green, lush plants and leaves. So just before, I think the ones at home have peaked, to be honest. So I'm going to crop some chilies now. We'll revisit that when the season is over, see what the average crop was, but there's some beauties on these, at the minute. Right, I think that is it. Hope you like my analysis. Lessons learned, interesting, some time lapse. Everyone loves a bit of time lapse, don't they? Right, that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Click subscribe, send me a comment. See you next time. Cheers.